So hi everyone, let's do a quick video here early in the morning as we're having an event today. I was looking at the lesson for 151, and I love the fact that he teaches you individually in your own mind to not judge. Now, I think that's easy, but all you do as a human being is judge. And I love how he expresses it. He says, no one can judge on partial evidence. He said that's not judgment. It is merely an opinion based on ignorance and doubt. Right? What he basically is saying is it's not that you're not supposed to judge. You can't judge. You have not enough information. Huh? So you think you know what's going on and you're completely wrong. And you know it. That has happened to you so often and still you keep doing that. And that's what he's saying. He says, it's seeming certainty. This you see all the time. You turn on your TV or someone you meet on the street and they seem to be completely certain knowing exactly what's going on. And he says, its seeming certainty is but a cloak for the uncertainty it would conceal. What? They're completely uncertain. They have no clue what's going on. That's why you fill it in with your own ideas, again, based on what? Partial ignorance. Ignorance. Partial knowledge. It's only if you have only partial knowledge, you can't know. It says it needs irrational defense because it is irrational. Turn on your TV. Everyone is defending their own thought system, right? Because if they wouldn't be defending their own thought system, they wouldn't know how they were, right? Then you would have to stand for a moment in your uncertainty and admit that you do not know who you are. Because you are your own ideas, you are your thoughts. You can't separate yourself from them. And it says, and its defense seems strong, convincing, and without a doubt because of all the doubting underneath, right? Those who claim they know, those who know they're certain about their position, right, are in fact and the ones that shout the hardest and are completely uncertain. Now listen to what he says. He says, you do not doubt the world you see. This is true. You think this is real, right? And even if you do practice that it's not real, you tend to forget about it and respond to it as if it were real, right? So you do not doubt the world you see. You do not really question what is shown you through the body's eyes, right? You believe that what you see out there is true, right? And again, even if you do practice these ideas, you tend to forget. This is why we recall these ideas throughout the day, correct? Nor do you ask why you believe it, even though you learned a long while since that your senses do deceive, right? All the time, even in daily life. You thought you knew what was going on, and it turns out something else is going on, right? Because what? You place your own ideas of what's going on. That you believe them to the last detail which they report is even stranger when you pause to recollect how frequently they have been faulty witnesses indeed. How often have you been wrong? And why is it that you still trust your senses? That's what he's saying. Don't you love it? He says it's not that we're telling you not to judge. You can't judge. You're always judging on partial evidence, and partial evidence is not knowledge. How can you judge? Your judgment rests upon the witness that your senses offer you, yet witness never falser than this is, right? And then he says, you place pathetic faith in these senses. You constantly rely on them and you know you've been wrong, right? He says, how can this be judgment? You've often been urged to refrain from judging, not because it is a right to be withheld from you. Ready? You cannot judge. You merely can believe the ego's judgments, all of which are false. I mean, not some of them, all of them. Nothing the world believes is true. Nothing that you believe is true, right? Somewhere you have to be willing in your awakening to admit that you don't know, right? That you're wrong, that you've been wrong about all of this, and that you're going to withdraw your own ideas about it. I love it. It says, it guides your senses carefully to prove how weak you are, how helpless and afraid, how apprehensive and just punishment. Amazing, right? This thing it speaks of and would yet defend, it tells you is yourself. What's the problem? You're identifying with your idea of yourself. When you judge, that moment, you identify with your idea of yourself. It's not what you are. And yet underneath remains the hidden doubt that what it shows you as reality with such conviction it doesn't believe, right? You know underneath that you really don't know what any of this is and what you are. And that's why you rush in with your own ideas to fill it in, because that's the scariest moment of a human being, right? You can't stand that you do not know who you are. You can't stand that you don't know how to look upon this. You can't stand that you don't know, right? So you fill it in immediately. Hear not its voice, the witnesses it sends to prove to you its evil is your own are false, right? So basically, um, yet you must learn to doubt their evidence will clear the way to recognize yourself, right? We call this divine ignorance, right? Step back and let yourself be shown instead of putting your own ideas on the situation. What an amazing idea. Let him be the judge of what you are, for he has certainty in which there is no doubt, because it rests on certainty, capital C, so great that doubt is meaningless before its face. I love that, right? As a teacher of A Course in Miracles, as someone who practices these workbook lessons, many of you out there are learning that what you thought you are is not what you are. Eh? And what you think is going on is not what's going on. And you learn to step back and ask for what's going on, right? How do I look upon this? There's got to be another way, right? Show me what this means, right? It's that kind of open-mindedness that this course is trying to teach, to bring about, because that way you can be shown who you are. And then says, he will remove all faith that you've placed in pain, disaster, suffering, and loss. Love that, right? He gives you vision which can look beyond these grim appearances. True, right? All the appearances of the world. You can look beyond that, right? But you gotta let yourself, you gotta allow yourself. Mm-hmm. And can behold the gentle face of Christ in all of them. You will no longer doubt that only good can come to you who are beloved of God, for he will judge all happenings and teach what? The single lesson that they all contain. You're being taught a single lesson, right? The single lesson is, well, however you want to express that. I'm perfect as God created me. I am as God created me. God's Son is sinless. However you want to express that, right? You're one with God. You're one with Source. It's not a conceptual lesson, right? But it's a lesson that can be shown. And it's being taught over and over every moment of the day in all kinds of forms until what? You learn it. That's the goal of this Course in Miracles, right? To learn a single lesson, right? That you are as God created you, right? That nothing has changed, that you are not what you thought you were. But it's taught in many, many different ways. And because of that, eventually you recognize that everything is the same. Everything, every situation, hard or easy, dark or light, is teaching you the one single lesson. No matter what its form, the content is the same. Right? So, yeah, when you hear that you can't judge, it's not that you're, you're being told, oh, now I can't judge. No, you can't judge. You have no idea what you're judging. Right? You have no idea how to look upon this. You're not aware of all the facets and the ins and outs of this situation. Right? You don't know what the other guy has gone through. I mean, however you want to express that. I love you. Have a great, great day, wherever, whenever you are, and I'll see you everywhere.